I think this is a lot safer, even though obviously trying to engage with the Xin Zhao is still going to be hard, and the engage of KT is really lackluster. The amount of prio and early skirmishing power that this composition have is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, it definitely is, but I feel like if T1 can kind of keep them at arm's length for a while, get their Nautilus tanky, get Faker fed.
Oh, it's done. Yeah, they can't fall behind ever.
You don't have engage, and then you're losing the poke war versus the Corki, and then you're just kind of feeling sad. So it's just going to be pretty interesting to see how this early in the big game plays out. I think they
don't want to die here. Give over a kill to the Kalista, who hasn't been able to build that big of a lead. Some blades, as well as a small CS lead over her farming counterpart is Poppy.
Oh, not going to hit Pyosik, though. It will come down to a smite fight. Who's going to get it? It will go the way of, well, Kalista, who's got her own smite in the way as the knockup does come in. And look at that combo as immediately Deft is going to go down. The BDD is in a lot of trouble here as well. The Renata ult was pretty good, but I think now that Faker shows up, they are just down a member and down any sort of damage. The bailout comes in on a Pyosik, but way too late to do anything to change the fight, and T1 will pick up the fight.
That's the benefit of forcing those early summoners at that Drake fight. Deft needs to be in close range. It's so hard to play that out, even with Zeus flashing. And then look at the optimization as well on the other end. There's double Hex Drinker available. There's a lot of early MR. Meaning that Pyosik and Deft are at a lot of risk.
Dive into Deer here. That's pretty bold out of the side of T1. Although with the Senna ult on top and no flash or ghost for perfect, it does work out, and the package just kept him in place. Generally pretty hard against the Udyr. I feel like if maybe he just ran at them instead of back over the package in a way, maybe he would have been in a better spot, but I do digress as Deft is in a lot of trouble here. He was just existing in the mid lane, but that wasn't allowed, said T1.
He just tried to get a turret, man. He just wants to cross map.
Wasn't allowed.
You already get the kill on perfect. Give him something.
No.
It's not looking good, Valdez.
Doom is running through the enemy jungle at 18 minutes into the game. Like, nobody's there, nobody can touch him, and that's what I was saying.
Come on, yeah, there we go.
T1 out of position, no vision.
They don't. They know. They scryer right now. They do know.
They know.
I don't think they have enough time, Valdez.
Yeah. They might still send it. I mean, they have a lot of Kalista sticks in this Baron, but no, they're just going to back off here. They get the TP out of Zeus, and T1 say, thank you for the leash. We're just going to continue this objective. As Owner holds on to the helicopter. He's not going to use it just yet. Perfect trying to get that flank as Faker goes over the top, and it's just going to flash away from everybody, as meanwhile, Pyosik's just isolated on the backside of this fight. They do get Faker, but the damage is already done here as Keria gets a massive 3-man knockup with his ultimate, and that just might be the nail in the coffin. KT are being wiped up here with a triple kill from Zeus, as Perfect might be the only one to get away, but a big team fight win going the way of T1.
And that Baron call was all KT have left. They knew it was a Hail Mary, and T1, they have a fair share of experience with setting up.
Nautilus at this point is just hilarious.
Yep.
Not for Deft and for KT, obviously, but just objectively, it's like, you don't touch this guy.
No, you don't.
So tanky. Even with for Hollow Radiance next, I mean, it's just the Frozen Heart and some health. That's just what happens, and you're never going to get in range without being ulted by Nautilus. So not only are you not dealing damage, you're CC'd half the time. It's just sad feels playing the Kalista into not only this champion, but into this comp. I mean, not to mention the Poppy that you talked about before. And now T1 with their Baron, just barreling down the bottom lane. As Guma's done the most damage in the game, surprisingly. Thought it would be Faker at this point with the packages, but he is up there as well. Guma just doing his job, surviving in the back of the fight, and just poking people down and keeping people alive. Senna,
a complete collapse of T1. This one is pretty, it's pretty over, Valdez. We'll see if they can kill Zeus. There are no TPs.
I think they can. 5v1.
Can they?
I think Zeus is in a lot of trouble here, right? That's an insane amount of damage going into Deft as he got that Q3 down, but it's 1,000 gold into the hands of Deft. They did it.
They did kill Zeus 1v5. Didn't work out. That's a big win. That's gold into the pockets of KT.
It's pretty nice. And now Perfect, he's being focused down, but he's a tank. I mean, that's not where you want your damage to go in.
There's no barrel.
You see Carry is incredibly tanky himself, as an ult is going to sail wide from Owner. And yeah, Barrel not being here. It looks like he took some extra time to farm in the bottom lane. I don't know what he was doing down there. Just trying to make sure that the turret went down. But either way, this inhibitor will stay up. And C1 will not risk the 4v5.
It's just so hard when you get to this point in the game because Faker is going to poke you. Guma has his summoners available. TP coming in.
Carry is like, yeah, I don't really care about the karma in this case. Ult is going to be utilized on the Perfect, and Zeus is just so huge, and he will take him out. Gets that slow below the 50% mark, and yeah, this inhibitor will go down. Doesn't look like Faker's got a package at this point in time, so they're not going to overstay their welcome. And we do have Baron here in a minute 30, so it looks like they will just play for that. Might just pick up a cheeky Ocean Soul on the way, because why not?
And all I'm wondering, Veldas, is when is T1 going to decide to walk down mid and end this game? Because they can, but they're not taking any risks.
Cheeky Soul, cheeky Baron.
And as we all know, all this is setting up for is for this series to be even better in game number 2. Because game number 1 didn't really give us one just yet as the teleport comes in. They're contesting.
Yeah, this is over Ocean Soul, so let's see how this does work out for them. As Perfect's doing a good job of trying to get in there, but now he's getting out of there. Oh, God. As the massive package comes in, and Deft is just dead immediately. The poor guy has no chance in this game, as Pyosik is going to go down as well. That's 3 of them out of this one. We got TPs all over the map. As Zeus will be looking for the kills, while Faker is looking for the kill on the Nexus. TP coming down here from Perfect into the base. And he will try to defend as Owner's just running through the turrets. And yeah, this one is a done deal. Has been for a while, guys, as Faker nearly goes down. But he's just fine in the end. C1 are playing with their food just a bit here. Guma trying to get those max stacks. He's going to end the game at 133 in this one on the Senna, which was given over to him. As I say that, he's getting more and more. 136 as the Nexus will go down, and T1 will take game number 1.
Early plan from KT was very obvious. Draft T1, it might feel like it's a bit too much. So they're going to go with Alistar instead, still allowing a way for Carriot to provide peel, but might have a little bit of a better time in the mid to late, also providing another form of engage as opposed to it just being Owner, which with the Kench, obviously, you don't really get.
Yeah. So definitely a couple of ways for T1 to play aggressively, but also defensively and wait and scale up and get their Orianna and Smolder to a spot where they'll be very powerful, but then reliable engage, as you did mention. Whereas on the side of KT Rolster, definitely Doran's Ring and Q start, as BDD is in a lot of trouble. Oh, he's just dead. Okay, that was quick. Owner comes up, clears the top side of his jungle, has red buff, flashes on top of BDD, who can't even react.
And he just gets back to clearing his jungle. That's optimal pathing.
Oh boy, Deft in a bit of trouble here as Keria sets it up, and already we have KT in trouble. As Deft will survive, which is very good for his sake.
Still has the sums available, whereas the same can't be said for Guma and Keria. Pyosik trying to fight Owner here. I don't know about that one.
Owner doesn't have Smite, but certainly Owner is in a much better spot health-wise versus Pyosik. Although Barrel is trying his best to try to zone him away as Pyosik has to flash, but now the hook comes in and Guma's over the wall. Deft is in some trouble as one auto will get it done. Pyosik is super low as well. Oh God. I wanted this game to be more competitive. Not like this. 3 kills into the hands of T1 in the bottom lane in 3 minutes into the game. Zoomed in on the turret.
Yeah, because Carry has a death.
Yeah. It's like, huh, where did that death come from? Wasn't from the fight.
That is peak storytelling from our observer team there from the LCK.
Thank you, Jonah Strong.
Him and the boys, they do a great job. We get to talk about that now, because this game, Valdes, it's not looking so good. This is not my telecom war.
Yeah. Saturday show. And he gets away with it with flying colors. Now, Keria might not get away from this one, as he will have to sacrifice himself to try to keep Guma alive, which he will do. Nice little gank set up here by the side of KT.
This is how the comeback starts, Feldes. That's what this game is in service of now, as we do give Pyosik an early kill. Wukong obviously going to skill really, really nicely with those. Good punish of the lack of flash. T1 will be able to pick up a Mountain Drake, but 2 more of those!
Guma does not have the ability to flap.
Or KT, and 1 more pick might be enough to start equalizing this goal score.
Oh boy. Well, we got Deft in a lot of trouble. He's going to run forwards because he can't run any other way.
Well, there was
Faker's going to pick up that kill.
It was just not the one we wanted or needed. Faker, really good roam there.
And he will be able to pick up 6 in this game, as well as picking up the first dragon. So they don't even need an early game comp. They just need early game wins in terms of the early trades that have gone their way.
Owner going to pick this up without any issue. She mentioned Feldes. Zay's standing guard. It's also the mid lane prio still available. Do you think Pyosik was spotted, so Faker should be fine, or has his flash available as well with the
into Zeus. And he doesn't seem to care because the rest of the map is winning for the side of T1, and they will take down a second Drake as well.
What's it gonna be here?
Ocean Soul.
No.
Oh, Chemtex.
Hey!
Sorry,
Yeah.
Yeah. Bottom lane could be in a little bit of trouble as Keria is going for a little walk.
Arrow, that's bait. You gotta know. Oh, okay. That's not bad. It's an okay trade.
Team with Smolder is trying to hold on and not lose the Chemtech Soul,
Well,
or the Soul at all.
I need some leeway.
Uh-oh, we got Perfect in a lot of trouble here. He's being CC'd to death, and he will get his hop off and immediately get ulted in the face. Doesn't even bother flashing, as it was a very nice and clean setup there from Owner and Zeus to take down the top lane. Deft, pretty scared. We haven't seen Mom be used just yet by Guma. He's just holding on to that one. Generally used to clear the waves, as you're usually being pushed under turret, but instead just holding on to it for if a team fight does break out. But you can see that KT not exactly confident about taking a fight on the bottom side of the map, so it's just free farm for the Smolder, as it will be this Rift Herald given over to the side of KT Rolster. Pyosik just gonna clone away from that one. Yeah. It was alright. We do have Pyosik looking for a little charge on into the mid turret. We're not going to see any Cuz maneuvers, as he is the best driver declared by us yesterday. But yeah, KT is going to set up for this objective. We do see that T1 are hanging around. Beryl is very much behind enemy lines.
They don't know.
They do not know about this, but now they're going all in onto Owner, gets knocked over the wall, but results back over, still goes down though. Very nice snipe here from Deft, but BDD is in an awful spot in the front line and was in a lot of trouble. Perfect in the mini-gnar as a 3-man knockup comes in from Keria as he knocks Deft straight into the danger zone. At the same time, Keria really shoring up the end point of that fight. And now KT is just on the run away from this tiny little dragon that is getting very fed. Already 163 stacks now as Keria is looking for a bit more. Not going to hit the knock-up at the end of this fight, but still a winning fight for T1 as Faker will take a mid-tier 1 potentially.
Some serious heavy lifting from Keria in that fight there. And crucially, even though they end up getting Owner, a lot has to be invested. And Perfect never ends up getting Mega. If they have Mega remaining damage sources because BDD already went down and because Perfect came into that fight as mini-gnar and was blown up relatively early. So that 1-2 of Zeus and Keria and the way that they used their CC gonna mean a big win for T1.
Yeah.
They get Soul Point here. Things are looking dire, Feldes.
Well, BDD was the one who went over first and shuffled him over the wall.
Yeah.
Showdown.
Yeah. He's at 197, by the way, so...
Yeah, didn't quite hit the 225 of 20. That's very difficult, but it's still extremely accelerated, we could say. Also, the fact that Zeus now is fed, you got Owner who's pretty fed, you have Faker who is doing a great job in mid. So there's just so many threats on the side of T1 that even if you do take out the Smolder...
TP for red?
Yeah, looks like a TP maybe for a game-winning fight, as that is an interesting mom call. Mom got a little bit distracted. But that's fine. Everybody on the side of KT just going to flash out of there. At least Beryl will.
Maybe a miscommunication. Guma tried to tell his mom where everyone was, and then they left. And then mom was like, even still? I'm like, yeah, you need to all or nothing here. TP coming in, they know. You want to try and contest this time? Mega Narbar actually not looking too bad.
Yeah, it's pretty well timed, but look at the damage that's coming out already on Apyoshi. He just gets caught out in the front line as Mom will be called down on top of Death, but we do have Owner in a lot of trouble. They do isolate him and essentially see him to death. He was not able to flash out of that one. And now T1 have to reconsider their options here in a 4v5. They have done a lot of damage to KT, but that big pick onto the jungle could be nice for KT to at least delay things for now.
T1 is one of the only teams that consistently does this, where they are a member down and they're still contesting this aggressively. We do have the TP coming in from BDD.
I mean, they're so healthy.
And they are still, again, a member down. Faker doesn't complete his back, does almost have teleport, but not quite have it available. And looks like T1 decide the better of it. Although, I'm not sure. No, TP getting, or back rather getting cancelled. Owner's on his way back.
Now let's see how this one goes. Will they even try to steal it away? There's a kind of half-hearted cue from Zeus, but yeah, now they're just gonna run towards the Baron and threaten it at least. They have Owner up.
I know, but I think they're gonna...
just do it?
They're just gonna do it.
There's no vision.
There's
Zero.
no vision at all. Pings are going down, but
no.
KT, they don't know. They have zero idea.
But they gotta know. I mean, there's...
But can they move in? Vision Cone gonna let them know.
They're gonna move in together as a team. Look at Carrier's position. He's gonna be spotted. He gets onto that backline. Deft is in a lot of trouble. They dive very deep for him, as Mob will help out, but they don't take out Deft just yet. But it is going to be him eventually going down. BDD does have some nice damage in that backline, but now he's all alone here. Zeus getting pretty low, but BDD will eventually get executed as Smolder. Guma will pick up the triple, as Perfect is the only one left alive, and he will just run away, sadly.
Carrier with the setup there, gets on top of Deft. Deft doesn't get to play the game, and this is why we mentioned maybe it's a Kench angle, because otherwise it becomes so incredibly hard to play out, to actually get anything going there. T1, they give up the Dragon. That's not over yet, Valdez. They get one more fight.
The Nexus hasn't exploded, Chronicler. You are correct.
Yes, there's Smolder, the baby Elder Dragon breathing fire down their base. Yes, there is a fat Cassante in this game who we haven't even really talked about, which, remember a week and a half ago, that was all we talked about.
Smolder entered the scene. Senna Nautilus entered the scene. There were other OP things to talk about. But yeah, they also got Cassante, which was pretty interesting. Was first rotation, right? They got Orianna Cassante first couple of picks.
They did.
On the side of T1. And they were given Smolder after the second phase of bans as well. You remember the bans were Zeri Lucian. So
I'm just wondering whether
again
that Lucian ban was really a necessity.
No, it wasn't. Absolutely not. And
no, I was wondering.
Yeah,
Alice. I don't need an answer. We just need to ponder.
True. Yeah, we're just thinking, not answering.
We're just asking questions.
I do think that the draft has come back to bite KT a couple times, but T1 have also played very nicely in these two games with what they have been given. A lot of power picks is what they have been given. Vi was almost permabanned in the first couple of days this week. They got that as well.
It's just Chemtexel. It's fine. Just get a turret, maybe top. No, that you can't do that. Wave position isn't good. Get Krugs. Get Krugs.
Get Krugs.
Get Krugs.
Hell yeah.
They're getting Krugs.
Is getting the Krugs. 11% slow resistance and increased damage. And decreased damage.
Yep.
Below 50% health. As Cassante really is going to like that, actually. So there is one champ that really does love the Chemtech Soul on the side of T1. And it is that man in the top lane here. As T1 trying to go for the mid turret. They do not have the Baron buff at this point in time, but they don't seem to need it, as they're just going to utilize that Chemtech Soul and the power in their wallets to eventually take this one down. They also have 6 Void buffs, which is actually helping take down the objectives, the structures here, as Beryl is in some trouble. But the damage coming out from Perfect is actually pretty nice, as now we get a big knockup. Immediately Beryl is taken back into that back line, as Smolder's just doing way, way too much here, as Bob will be called down. BDD, though, still alive, looking for his angle. He tries to go for it immediately, just gets bursted down 100-0, as that looks to be the end of the game. BDD tried so hard to find that 1-0 moment like he normally does, but it doesn't look like he was able to do it this time around. Guma just collecting kills. Owner gonna steal that one away. But it looks like T1 has done it, guys. 2-0 on the night, as they will take down the Nexus turrets and the Nexus in a couple of very one-sided games against their telecom opponents, as they're just having fun with their food here at the end. 2-0 in this series.
And with that, I think a lot of